Welcome to Gay Men Going Deeper, a podcast by the Gay Men's Brotherhood that showcases raw and real conversations about personal development, mental health, and sexuality from an unapologetically gay perspective. I'm your host, Michael Diorio, and joining me today is Matt Lancetal. Before we jump into today's episode, guys, we're doing something a little new today, and I want to just give you a brief explanation of what's going on. We're going to try out a shorter, more organic conversation where Matt and I pick a topic that feels alive for us in the moment, and we're just going to talk about it without any outline or agenda or preset questions like we normally do. So it's still gay men going deeper. We're still gay men. We're still going deeper, but maybe you can consider these shorter episodes, just the tip, if that helps. You're still going to get our regular episode deep dives with Reno and with Matt and I. So that's still happening. Don't worry. We just want to give you guys a little more of a spontaneous combo where you get a bit more of a behind the scenes of our work and our lives. So that's what we're doing today. All right, let's get into it. Our very first topic, I wanted to talk about gay labels. If we use them, why or why not, and unpacking our overall thoughts on this. I think it's an obsession that sometimes we have with gay labels, and how they impact our identity, dating, confidence, and sexuality. So, first burning question for you, Matt. What gay labels do you identify with, either previously, historically, or today, if any?
Gay labels. Um, I would say I don't know actually, because I don't really identify with many now that I think about it. Are you talking about labels in the sense of identity, or are you talking about labels in the sense of sexual preferences, like these
Well,
sorts of
let's
things?
do
Like what?
identity. So things like daddies, jocks, bears, twinks,
Okay.
all of those things that we otters.
Okay.
There's so many now, but like those are the kind of the main ones. But that we can start with that. Yeah.
Okay. Is mystic a gay
Yeah, yeah.
identity?
It should be a more popular one in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to be a jock. I would say I used to see myself as a jock. Um, and I appreciated that, but I haven't really been jockey
Hmm.
for the last 6 years. And I
Yeah.
feel like I don't know, maybe my identity is more like the spiritual one or um, the earthy kind of guy, like people always describe me as like a bit more granola, um, those sorts of things. Definitely not bear, not daddy, not cub, not twink. What's a twunk?
It's like a hunky twink. Like a twink is normally pretty slender, but a twunk is a bit more muscular,
Okay.
almost like a
Yeah.
jock. Yeah. And then
Yeah.
there's the twaz, which is a twink that is now older, and so he's a twaz.
A twas. Yeah, I would say probably those would be the ones I identify with. But again, I don't really identify with
Mhm.
them as much. It's more so I just kind of see myself as Matt
Right.
now, right? I kind of done a lot of work on shedding a lot of these labels because I found that they were like holding me back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I think a lot of people will say that. The reason I picked this topic is because we just had I do an alumni event every couple of months with my former clients and former group participants, and we had an alumni session this last week, and we just kind of got into this topic about gay labels, and I like jotted it down. I'm like, oh, we need to talk about this because everyone got
Yeah.
really fired up about it, right? Some people like you felt like it was holding them back and they didn't like it, and they felt like they were put in a box. Other people really felt a sense of pride identifying with whatever label, like the bear community, for example.
Yeah.
And that didn't give them any sense of feeling like it was in a box. It was like a label in a good way, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and I agree. I think there's pros and cons. If you think about when people say the gay community, I don't know if it's really a community. I think it's a population. And then we create communities within the population, right? So I'm not really a big fan. I know it's so mainstream that I have to use it because I'm not going to say the gay population, but it really is more of just a population of people. It's millions and millions of people, and so the labels is where we can start to subdivide and be like, yeah, I'm a bear, or I'm a this, or I'm a that, and I find so much benefit in labels like, and I've identified with things like neurodivergent or highly sensitive or empathic, demisexual. Like these are all the ones that I represent. But I've never really grabbed onto a lot of the ones around being gay,
Mhm.
because I feel like I've never, I guess jock probably, but that doesn't necessarily have to just be within the gay spectrum. I think it could be anybody could see themselves as a jock if they were athletic
Yeah.
or whatever. But yeah, I'm curious for you, what are the benefits? Well, actually, no, I want to know what you identify with first.
Um, Probably jock as well, although that's shocking for me to think that I would ever be that. Like if my little boy Michael heard this, like, yeah, right. If anyone has seen me play sports, you know that I'm not a jock, but it's more so the look that I would wear, like the kinds of things I wear sporty gear. And
Yeah.
yes, I do like to go to the gym. But
Yeah.
yeah, I would say that one. And I would say lately I'm getting into my daddy vibe. I mean,
Hmm.
I'm 42, so I think I have earned that, at least in
Yeah.
some ways. And I don't mind it. I think, I people call me daddy and like, yeah, bring it. Like that doesn't make me feel any which way. I kind of like it actually.
Yeah.
So those two probably, and then when I was younger, I would say the boy next door. I was always that like boy next door, like cute little
Yeah.
preppy Abercrombie guy. Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that with you. I
Yeah.
like that. I'm usually attracted to boy next door kind of guys.
Yeah.
Just like humble and like, they're not like, yeah, there's just something about the boy next door energy that I'm really drawn to. Or even kind of geeky. I've said that in
Mhm.
previous episodes before. I like
Yes.
geeky and freaky. That's a
Agreed.
really nice mix. A guy that's kind of geeky, you would never suspect that he would be like sexual and like have this prowess or this,
Yeah.
this energy, but yet he surprises you in the bedroom. I kind of like that.
Yeah. I love that as well. And on apps like all the apps, actually, I shouldn't say all the apps. Grinder for sure. I don't know about the other ones, but they do have that where you can like search, filter your grid by all these tags and labels, and there's so many more than the ones we've named here. There's tons,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I think that can be limiting. I don't do that personally. Like I don't look for only jocks or only whatever it is.
Yeah.
But I do think in some ways it can be limiting, and I think the answer, of course, is both to that question. Personally,
Yeah.
to me, it does not limit me at all. Like, but I think I get to choose my usage of labels, and when they suit me, great. But if not, I don't get too fussed. And even if people mislabel me as something, I really don't care. I'm like, sure,
Yeah.
whatever you want to think.
Yeah. What makes somebody identify with labels, do you think? Do you think it's like how they look or how they behave, their lifestyle? Like what are the things that make people say like, "Oh, I'm a bear," or "I'm a whatever." Like,
I think looks is the main thing because that's how we just look at somebody. We don't even know how they live or how they act necessarily, but we look at them and poof, we can kind of say, oh, look at that bear over there. Like exactly what kind of person I'm talking about, or look at that twink over there. Like I don't even need to describe for you. You know the features. So I think that's
yeah.
the primary thing, and when it comes to those like main gay labels, and I think that especially with the bear community, I'm gonna say I'm not a bear. I'm speaking on behalf of all bears out there. Please let us know in the comments, but I think that first of all, when I have spent time with bears, I have the most amazing time. They're
Yeah.
super fun. They're just a good time. Um, and I think that there is a great sense of pride in the community. Like they have their own flag, they have their own colors, they have their own events, they have their own
Yeah.
bars. And so I think, shout out to all the bears out there. I think that they've done a really good job making a label work for them
Yeah.
in a
Yeah, I
positive
agree.
way. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's a very inclusive, well, I've never been in the community, but from the outside looking in, it seems like a very inclusive community. Yeah. Yeah. Hmm.
Have you ever wanted to be part of a label and just or part of a community or a subset and just felt like you couldn't, you didn't belong?
Hmm. I don't think so. Not off the top of my head. Um, yeah, no, I don't think so. You?
Yeah, jock. I always,
Talk.
oh
Okay,
yeah, for
yeah.
sure. Because I had such a crush on them as a kid, and I was like, oh my God, I want to fuck them and I want to be them. And yeah, and then eventually, I guess I did it.
Yeah,
Check.
yeah. What are the benefits, from your opinion, what are the benefits of being or of labels? Yeah.
Well, like the bear population, I think that it does give them in the gay community, belonging is a big issue. We talk about that a lot. And I think that in a sense, it gives people a niche, it gives people a subset, it gives people their tribe, their folks, their fellow people that they can easily connect with. And I
Yeah.
think that, if you walk into a big room, you just see your people, all of a sudden it's like, okay, I feel safer. My nerves
Yeah.
are calm. And I think that can help.
Yeah.
Like in that sense. Now, the flip of that is when it becomes insulated, when you become
Yeah.
insulated in that community too much and you think that, everyone else sucks or is not as good, or you just stop interacting with other people. So I think it's
Yeah.
one thing to find your camaraderie and a safe space within that subset, but at the same time,
Yeah.
not completely isolate yourself from everybody else.
Yeah. Yeah, it's an interesting debate because, when you look at exclusive communities, it's like, even in our community, we've had people be like, well, why is there not more content for trans men? And why is there not more use of the word queer and these
Yeah.
sorts of things? And we do get this feedback. I wouldn't say often, but it
Yeah.
happens, right?
Yeah.
And there's something to be said about exclusive communities in the sense that this is a corner that we've niched out where, the content is created by gay men for gay men, and it's like people who identify with this label. And I think we can, if we try and be too inclusive, then we dilute like the sense of belonging to the group that we identify with, right? And I think the LGBTQ community has done that a little bit, where they've like just like let anyone and everyone into this pool, and that's why I think we have so much subdividing, and we got to go into these little pools because it's like, well, we still want to be able to identify with the labels and the identities that actually we resonate with. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Because it's and I'm all for inclusion. I'm not saying that inclusion is a bad thing by any means. I think inclusion is a beautiful thing. But when we become too inclusive, it can dilute maybe the mission or the vision of a particular sub community, right?
100%. There is a book I read, and I wish I was at home. I would pull it off my shelf. It's by, I think, Priya Parker.
Mm.
I may have mentioned it before, but it's basically about the power of exclusion in creating belonging. And so
Yeah,
it's very purposeful, intentional exclusion. So we are creating, like in the Gay Men's Brotherhood, a safe space for gay, bi, and queer identifying men
yeah,
for a very particular reason that it's specifically for that. And that can be a good thing. And so I think people can, especially in today's world, misunderstand that exclusion as us not being, I mean, it is exclusionary, but it's done with a very solid purpose. And I think that's okay. I think that's very, very much okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Again, not to the point where it is the be all and end all, but this is our community. We made it for this reason, for these people, and we are serving these people. We're not here to serve everybody. And if you don't like it, that's fine. Go find the next one.
yeah,
Right?
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just had a thought, and actually, it's quite a common label that we get in the gay community, and I never even thought about this, but masc.
Yeah.
Masculine. That's totally a label that we put on, and that is one that I identified with hardcore. Because
Yeah.
I was just thinking, I'm like, what are the downsides to labels? And one of them for me has been it boxes me in. It
Hmm.
creates concept of self, and then we might have a hard time breaking out of that. And for me, my concept was masculine, jock, and then I would immediately be lumping myself and also by others be lumped into top energy, right?
Yeah.
And that's not necessarily who I am. And I feel like so a lot of my concepts started to shift over the years, and I started to become more connected with my feminine, and I started to be interested more in bottoming, and right. So these sorts of things started to shift for me, and it was a grieving that I had to go through to let go of these labels because they weren't who I was anymore. Especially the jock one because, I had all these injuries. I did my fitness competitions and I was very much, my self-concept was like, you are the fit guy.
Mm.
And then I started to change. My body started to change and I had to kind of almost grab onto something new, which
Hmm.
was kind of, I guess I'm still in that, but I don't want to grab onto anything. So I do feel a little bit almost like nomadic in
Hmm.
my identity. Like I'm not really landing on anything other than like what I've already said, like demisexual and this and that. But as far as like things that I actually take on for a full-on identity, I think I'm trying to be identityless,
Yeah.
label-less in a way.
I think for me, I've always really enjoyed subverting those things. And so I actually get a kick out of when people see me as something, and then I just completely blow their mind
Yeah.
by being something else.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love it. I do. And so I kind of have fun with it.
Yeah.
um, so yeah, I haven't had that, but I get what you mean. Like in terms of the identifying, like a label that identifies you, and then all of a sudden, if that like a twink, right? Like you
Yeah.
can be a twink and have all this identity attached to being a twink, and then all of a sudden you age, and
Yeah.
and there is a grieving process. It's like, wait a minute, like I'm not that cute twink anymore. I'm a
Yeah.
40-year-old man, and that those things just don't hit the same anymore. And so I've
Yeah.
seen people kind of have that same identity crisis almost, as they
Yeah.
shift out of identities. But it's also the same for people who were married and who are no longer married, people who worked at a
Yeah.
certain place for like 25 years and now they don't.
Yeah.
So it's that same thing. Identity can come from all kinds of labels.
Yeah. Yeah, and we did that episode on reinventing yourself, and I think that's a good episode to follow up with this stuff if you are finding that, your labels are just something that you're wanting to start to shed and let go of, and stepping into a new version of yourself. Reinventing yourself is a rebirthing process of like, yeah, shedding, grieving, letting go of who you were so you could become who you want to be, I guess, eh?
Yeah. Yeah. And that takes time. So like my
Yeah.
label in that episode, I talked about going from like a 9 to 5 employee to like a entrepreneur. And that was really weird because I'm like, I'm not an entrepreneur. What the fuck do I know about entrepreneurship? And it felt weird. It felt like putting on a new pair of shoes. Yet
Yeah.
that's what I wanted. I wanted to wear these shoes. And so you have to go through those awkward bits if it's something that you really want.
Yeah.
And let go of
Yeah.
the old thing too, which is not so easy because your ego really wants to hold on to what it already knows and what it already feels safe with, even if it's not good for you, or even if it
Yeah.
doesn't suit you anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, interesting. Something else is coming through. This
Yeah.
conversation is stimulating me more than I thought. But like being the helper healer guy in the
Hmm.
gay community, there's like a part of me that I limit myself in certain ways that I show up. Like I kind of feel like I have to be more serious, or I have to be more like I can't be promiscuous, or I can't be these things because I have to be the guy that's like the helper, the healer, the therapist dude. So I do know that that boxes me in a little bit because,
Yeah.
like, for example, when I went to Amsterdam, I let go of that for 5 days, and I was the wild Matt. Wild Matt came out, and I was like, "Whoa, I haven't experienced wild Matt in like probably since my or my late 20s." Right? So I'm like, okay, so I think when I travel, I'm able
Yeah.
to let go of labels and identities a lot easier, and I can just be whoever because I'm out of routine. I'm not around the people who might be like, wait a minute, why are you acting like this?
Yeah.
Right? No one, when I'm traveling, no one knows how I act, right?
Right.
So yeah, it's fascinating.
Whereas I just enjoy it. I love when people say that. I get such a kick out of it. Like, oh, that's not
Yeah.
who I thought you were. I'm like, yep, that's right.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the power of the Gemini. We can shape shift very quickly.
Yeah, yeah, totally. In the when I was talking about this with my graduates, I call them my alumni. There was a few people who thought that it was actually very unhelpful, and I thought that we need to just completely dispose of them altogether because their rationale was that it boxes people in, they don't fit in today's world anymore. We don't need them. So I'm curious,
Yeah.
what do you see are like the negative um, repercussions of these labels that the gay culture has, for whatever reason, really seemed to take to?
Yeah. I would say those people might be like similar to me. They might be struggling with feeling boxed in, or they might be struggling with feeling like they don't belong, right? Because maybe they haven't come to a place in their life where they feel like they fully know who they are, right? So I
Mm,
feel like when we start coming
yeah,
into knowing who we are able to say, okay, I am here, I'm here, I'm here, I'm right. So we either place ourselves as we get older, or as we get older, we start to just shed shit and start to let go. And I'm just like, I don't need to, right? So it's all dependent on the person and what they're needing. So I think the negatives can be, yeah, it boxes you in. I think it creates exclusion. I think it makes people become like self-fulfilling of their limitations or their fulfillment or potential or whatever, right? But it's like I have to be this because everyone else around me is being like this. It's like for a good example is the gay culture in general. It's like in order to be, your currency as a gay man is to be muscular, to party, to do all these things, and then we feel like if we're not that, then we have to feel inadequate or that we don't measure up, right? So I can see how it can be destructive as well. Um, yeah.
I think that's it. You just nailed it for me. It is because I don't subscribe to that, and I've kind of
Hmm.
like let that go completely.
Yeah.
So I think because I have such a my sense of self is purely like here in here.
Yeah.
That's why I was saying earlier, people can label me whatever they want. It literally does nothing. I'm like, okay, like I don't need to fight with you. I don't need to. I'll just let you label me whatever. But I think you nailed it
Yeah.
because I've done that work, and um, yeah, I don't need to prove anything. And so like sometimes I'm masked, sometimes I'm not. Sometimes I'm a jock, sometimes I'm not. Sometimes I'm a
Yeah.
daddy, sometimes I'm not. And I
Yeah.
think I think that's true for all of us. I think just sometimes we're in it, sometimes we're not. And when we try to like always fit this thing, that's the part that's limiting is this
Yeah.
alwaysness. And I just love to play and dance in all ends of life and
Yeah.
the messy bits and the magical bits and all these labels. But I think that if you're one of those people out there who has a hard time with these labels, maybe what Matt said is something you need to like rewind and listen to again. That might be your work.
Yeah. Come to think of it, I don't even know if it's possible to be labelless, because what that means is that we would be identityless. And the way the human being works is we have an ego. Our ego grabs onto concepts and
Yeah.
identities, and we form who we are. So maybe it's not about taking them away. Maybe it's about identifying with more,
Yep.
right? So instead of saying I'm masc, what if you identified with masc and femme and you
Yeah.
played with both of them, right? As opposed to, so it's more so about playing with the binary as opposed to falling on one side of the binary, right? It's
Yeah.
like, because that's really how it's been for me. I'm like, now that I think about it, I'm like, no, like I haven't actually shed my identity and become this nothingness. I've actually taken on more identities and played with more costumes and more masks and more things, and that's what's give me a greater sense of liberation, right?
Mhm. Yeah. And the other piece of it is you don't have to identify with all of the traits of that thing, whatever
Yeah,
those attributes are, all those characteristics. And the example I use is, you and I, Matt, are Canadian, and people have this idea of what Canadians are like. Some of those I fit, and other ones I don't. And
yeah,
like that doesn't make me any less Canadian. You don't see me questioning my Canadianness. It's like, no, I'm
yeah.
Canadian. I'm just not that kind of Canadian. I'm not the lumberjack. I don't play hockey. I hate the fucking snow. I'm not that kind of Canadian. I'm this kind of Canadian over here. And so like when you look at it in that sense, it's almost like, okay, yeah, there's room to breathe in these labels.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. It's like malleable. Make the label
Yes.
malleable and don't be so rigid with identifying with it and within the scope of it, but also within just that label alone. Like hop into other labels that I think can help thicken up who you are.
Take what resonates, love it, identify with it, own it, and leave the rest. If it doesn't, that does not make you a problem. It does not make you less than if you don't necessarily relate with
Yeah,
all of that particular label. Like the mask one is a great
yeah,
example. Sometimes I'm masked, sometimes I'm not.
yeah,
That doesn't has nothing to do with my sense of worth or confidence though. Like zero.
yeah,
They're just labels. I
yeah,
can identify with it sometimes and not always, but it's separate from my internal worthiness.
yeah, exactly. And we don't have to look the part either.
Mm,
Right? Like so if we stopped like looking in the mirror and being like, well, I don't really look like a bear, so I can't be a bear, or
yeah.
I don't look that mask, I can't be masked. It's like, well, no. Sometimes when we identify with things as labels, we can also identify them through an energy, right?
Hmm.
Energetics can also play a role in this too. It doesn't just have to be appearance. So play with the energy of what it's like to be masculine or what it's like to be, burly,
Yeah.
these sorts of things. And it doesn't have to just be how we look. I know people are going to have a hard time wrapping their head around that concept because we're so looks driven in our culture. But, behind closed doors, you can start playing around with the energies of these things. And then hopefully one day you find courage to bring that energy out into the world and share it with people. Yeah.
And I think that I'm going to give what is it, Gen Z and Gen Alpha some credit here, which I don't often do, but I think they've done a really good job of again, being subversive, which is what I
Yeah.
like to do. But they just, and I think it's great. I think it's wonderful. I love it. I'm all for it. I love seeing younger folks, mostly younger folks, just take these things and completely flip them on their head. And I think it's great. And I think we need more of it. So the more we do that, I think the more we get to what you're saying. And
Yeah.
we just need examples of it. And what I find is people have that natural tendency, like they'll say, like behind closed doors, this is what I want to do, but I
Yeah.
would never do that out loud, or I would never actually put that out there. And I'm like, no, that's what we need. We need examples of people having the courage to express themselves in their most genuine expression. And that might be a little bit of this and a little bit of that and a little bit of this. And then you own that all and you make this beautiful soup of an identity. And then it gives other people permission
Yeah.
to do the same.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that.
Take those
What
labels and
kind of
make a
soup would
fucking
yours
quilt.
be? Yeah, exactly. I love how our minds were just going there. You're like, you're going to a quilt, and I said, what kind of soup would yours be?
Right. Oh God. That's a lot. It's a lot of flavor in
Yeah.
that soup.
Yeah. I love it. Mhm. Mhm.
Another thing is the straight folks out there. I know we have some straight listeners. I think they get such a kick out of the gay labels. Like
Oh yeah.
I get my family asking like, "What's a bear?" They're like, "Are you an otter?" Those kinds of things, and it's true because I don't see. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't see any other kind of like subsets of like the world out there who have these archetypes that are so built into the fabric of their culture.
Yeah.
I think it's just the gays that do this.
Yeah. Yeah. I would be, and not an otter, I'd be a wolf, I think. I'd be a friendly wolf.
What's a wolf?
I don't know. I just, that's the vision I get of
Okay.
myself. Like, or like a golden retriever or something like
Mm,
that. Like, I'm not an otter, I don't think. I feel like a wolf is just maybe like a guy that's hairy, but he's not like an otter.
yeah. Yeah, there is a wolf category tag. I've seen them. I just
Oh,
don't know
perfect. Well,
exactly
then
what
I'm
they are.
that. I'll be
Yeah.
that. I'll
Yeah.
be a wolf.
Everyone out there, enlighten us. If you are listening to us, please write in the comments. Tell us what a wolf is.
Yeah. And tell us what labels you identify with. I want to know. Yeah.
Yes. And whether you think they are helpful or hindering to your sense of identity and belonging. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Matt, any last words?
No, no.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
was
this
great.
was fun.
Yeah, that was a
Yeah.
fun little first shot at our spontaneous conversation here. We had no agenda, guys. We just popped on the camera and started talking. So if you
Yeah.
want us to keep doing these, if you like this kind of format, let us know. Feel free also to let us know what topics you'd like to hear from us, because that's fun too. And as always,
Yeah.
everything that we do in the Gay Men's Brotherhood, our events, our courses, our coaching, counseling, and men's groups are all in the show notes. So if you want to go deeper with us, that's where you can find us. All right, guys, have a good one.